Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here, and if you've seen the news, Joe Rogan started not feeling well on Saturday, figured that he had the you-know-whatski and hutch, tested positive for it, and then began to treat it with a multitude of things that we have to say out of the gates are unproven and may be considered medical misinformation. In fact, one of those things is the I word. So I want to remind everybody that the very good people at Twitter and Jack Dorsey, they want to let you know on the side column, and we click the side column, you see it over my head, Ivermectin is not authorized for treatment of COVID-19 according to the FDA. Vice isn't convinced either. And if you see some of these headlines, that's why we labeled the video the way we did. We're going to play Joe Rogan's Instagram post, but first we're going to read the Vice article. And the bottom line is here, we're going to show you one place where a judge has ordered the use of ivermectin and another where a judge has refused the use of ivermectin. And to me, all of this is, of course, the complete and total insanity of COVID-1984, the move by the predator class for full medical martial law tyranny into a UBI, automation nation, transhumanist society. So if that's a little too hardcore for you, I'm sorry, that's where we're at. And there's a clip that I'm going to play only on Rockfin at the end of this, of Dr. Pierre Corey, who's essentially been banned on this platform in many respects, answering his critics on the spot about double-blind studies and the evidence of effectiveness. Now, that's something we can't really talk about because we're on YouTube, and there are certain things we can't discuss. So before we get going, I do want to remind everybody to thumbs this video up right now. Let's get those thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Subscribe and share to the channel. We've been fully demonetized now for, well over a year and a half, probably going to be close to 2 years. And without you guys, this isn't possible. So I want to thank everybody that has come over to the Rockfin, 33,000 plus strong. All right. And over at the Rockfin right now, there are 3 exclusives that I believe are about 3.5 hours long altogether. So if you haven't seen it, and by the way, this video is going to have exclusive content in it as well. So after the video, come on over to Rockfin. But we just put up an interview that I did with Ricky Verandis from The Ripple Effect, a man from his town, Louis, a former detective and police officer, and then Justin McCarthy, a lawyer from Massachusetts who is suing to have the mask taken off of children. That and so much more. We've got The Last American Vagabond, Sam Tripoli, Slow News Day, and the other panels of the Union of the Unwanted. They're not YouTube friendly. They're only available at Rockfin. Make that free account. Follow me. GoFundMe is how you support me. And guys, we started the LLC this week. We put in for the LLC. We're in negotiations with the landlord for the building. He wants a 2-year lease. We're making it happen. The Burmis Brigade is growing, and even if YouTube does censor us full, hey, Odyssey, thank you for backing us up. I want to remind everybody the documentary films, Loose Change, Final Cut, Fabled Enemies, Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined, and Shade the Motion Picture are available for free right here, right now. And although it's late night now, from 4 to 6 p.m. Central Time, I will be streaming live and at the protest at Trinity Hospital in the Bettendorf-Davenport border on Utica Ridge Road. So I hope that if you are in the area, you guys decide to come out and support those people as well. So Joe Rogan says he has COVID, is taking ivermectin. I feel great, the host declared, unconvincingly. So Vice just isn't convinced that he feels great. Well, again, I'm going to let you to decide. But once again, when you read this article, and we're going to read it first because it's just so out of control. Joe Rogan, the UFC commentator and podcast host, has come down with COVID-19, he announced on Instagram. He said he's treating the illness with, among other things, and they're focusing on this because, again, this is what they're trying to demonize, ivermectin, the unproven treatment beloved by anti-vaccine activists and right-wing politicians. Again, everything's about putting you in a box. It's Boxy McGee. In a video, an exhausted-looking Rogan said that over the weekend he tested positive for having felt run down and feverish. We immediately threw the kitchen sink at it, he said. Monoclonal antibodies, Ivermectin, Z-Pak, prednisone. 3 days of treatment, he claimed. He had feeling like a new man. And let's talk about that as well. You know, those treatments out there were very much demonized as well. Like all of these things that have been used in modern medicine were completely and continue to be demonized. How Rogan caught COVID is a mystery. But throughout the pandemic, he has offered a friendly ear to some of the loudest and wrongest people in the America. Notorious COVID troll Alex Berenson got time on Rogan's show to explain theories. For example, so did Pierre Corey of Frontline COVID-19 Critical Care. I mean, just the smear job on Corey. We can't even play Corey's video here. But again, we can play Joe Rogan because he is an icon. He is speaking for himself. And you decide whether you're convinced. Okay? And remember, they're always trying to make it about what? Oh, this is for horses, the horse antiparasitic. I'm seeing that all over in the news too in some of these other stories. I want to remind people. Ivermectin, a wonder drug from Japan, the human use perspective, 2011. You look into this drug pre-2020, 2019 and on. Ivermectin, enigmatic, multifaceted wonder drug, continues to surprise and exceed expectations. The Journal of Antibiotics, 2017. Ivermectin, a drug worthy of a Nobel Prize, but inaccessible to those who need it. Oh, how history continues to repeat itself. So let's go back here. Okay, let's keep going. How dare he have doctors on, okay, whom Rogan hosted on his first ever emergency podcast so that Corey could preach the virtues of ivermectin to the masses. Oh, that terrible doctor trying to save lives. Oh, he's a bad man. This was one of the key events leading up to the ivermectin craze that has swept feed stores across the country, feed stores, and left public health officials begging the public not to drink horse dewormer. And that's why I've got women who have no idea what's going on at Denny's going, I heard they're going to start treating this with horse vaccines. Public shot, folks. Public shot. Again, you just saw all the human use. I mean, earlier this year, Rogan told his podcast listeners, if you're like 21 years old and you say to me, should I get booped? I'll go, no. Later, he took it back, calling himself a fucking moron. I don't think he did it in that way. He also recently told fans he'd refund them if venues required proof of vaccination. Good. I'm glad he's not for the slave pass. If someone has an ideological or physiological reason for not getting vaccinated, he said, I don't want to force them to get vaccinated to see a fucking stupid comedy show. Correct. Wow, what a bad man Joe Rogan must be, Vice. Vice is like always, not always. In the beginning, they fooled you with some good stuff. They fooled you with some edgy stuff. And then boom, man, they went hardcore authoritarian. Remember when they were reporting on North Korea like they were authoritarian? I mean, Vice is disgusting. You take that big money, it's over. Rogan, who last year struck a deal with Spotify worth more than $100 million, presumably did not acquire his ivermectin at Tractor Supply or figure out a dosing regimen via forums user posting. Whatever his course of treatment did for him, he was in favor of it, according to this video. I feel great, he said. Unconvincingly. Come on. Hey, Vice, fuck you. So here's Joe. Let's hear what Joe has to say in his own words.
Hello, friends. So I got back from the road Saturday night, feeling very weary. I had a headache, and I just felt run down. And just to be cautious, I separated from my family, slept in a different part of the house, and throughout the night, I got fevers and sweats, and I knew what was going on. So I got up in the morning, got tested, and turns out I got COVID.
So let's stop. He's not sweating. He doesn't look flush. He looks pretty normal. Yeah. But I guess that Vice just is not, convinced.
So we immediately threw the kitchen sink at it. All kinds of meds, monoclonal antibodies, Ivermectin, Z-Pak, prednisone, everything. And I also got an NAD drip and a vitamin drip, and I did that 3 days in a row. And so here we are on Wednesday, and I feel great.
Now, if you look at him, and he's on the drips and all these things, okay? All these things. You look at someone like Rob Dew, and we've played those clips, he's still feeling a little rougher. He's way better than when he had to walk out under duress at the hospital. But he was on those drips. He was on a very similar regimen. And I think that Rob is going to have a tougher time with it. Obviously, Rogan is a beast physically as well.
I really only had one bad day. Sunday sucked. But Monday was better. Tuesday felt better than Monday. And today I feel good. I actually feel pretty fucking good. That's the good news. The bad news is we have to move the Friday show in Nashville. It's going to move to Sunday, October 24th. So that will be the new Nashville date. My apologies to everyone. Obviously, there's nothing that I can control. It is what it is. Crazy times we're living in. But a wonderful, heartfelt thank you to modern medicine for pulling me out of this so quickly and easily. And my love to all of you.
Again, Vice just isn't convinced that he's doing okay. That's really the only comment I can make on it on this platform. What I do want to show you is, we've played this clip here, Arkansas doctor under investigation for prescribing anti-parasitic drug thousands of times for COVID-19. And then, this is the FDA warning, because the FDA are our new gods, the CDC are our new gods, the WHO are our new gods. Okay? So here we go. This is a judge that's actually done this.
Ivermectin is the drug at the center of the Butler County court case. A judge ruled that UC Health had administered the highly controversial drug to one of their patients who had prescription from another doctor.
Ken Brown has been looking through the court filings live in Westchester with more.
Yeah, that's right, guys. And this here is controversial because it doesn't have FDA approval yet to treat for the coronavirus.
But, if you look at the things that he is, and it is FDA approved for other things, and there is a human use perspective, and for some reason the media is saying it's a horse medication. My goodness, give me a break. So let's do it right here.
But it does have FDA approval to treat for other things. So we wanted to take you through the court case, give you an idea play-by-play of what exactly happened here, and give you a little bit more insight into exactly what this drug is. The entire court case revolves around the care being provided to a Jeffrey Smith at UC Westchester. The complaint says that Mr. Smith is in the ICU and intubated. Mrs. Smith is one who's petitioning the court to force UC Health to give Ivermectin to her husband. A court filing outlines how Mr. Smith tested positive for the coronavirus on July 9th and then was admitted to the hospital on the 15th, was placed on a ventilator on August 1st, and the document filed on the 20th said, quote, at this point, the defendant, which would be UC Health, had exhausted its course of treatment and COVID-19 protocol in treating Jeffrey, which is unacceptable to Miss Smith.
How dare a wife fight for her husband's life?
From there, Miss Smith went to Dr. Fred Wagschel out of the Lung Center of America in Dayton, who reviewed his case and prescribed Ivermectin. UC refused to administer the drug. While Dr. Wagschel can't comment on individual patients, we did ask him about prescribing the drug in general.
From the countries that we've seen that have emptied their hospitals, this medicine is very, very effective.
One of the big
Again, I'm not saying that. Don't give me a strike. This is a news piece.
questions out of Butler County is, does this set a new precedent at hospitals?
It also could be legal precedent. It's not, it is the Butler County Common Pleas Court So it's well thought of throughout the state, as is Judge Gregory Howard. So that would carry a lot of weight.
Ivermectin is not approved by the FDA for use against the coronavirus, which is what Jeffrey has. The drug is approved for use against some parasitic worms, head lice, and some skin conditions in humans. The FDA says it is doing initial research into the effectiveness against COVID-19 and adds taking the drug in large doses is dangerous and can cause serious harm. Mrs. Smith says through the court filings, quote, "My husband is on death's doorstep. He has no other options."
So let's just stop it right there. Once again, this idea that, this could harm humans, is spun because people can't get the medication that's extremely cheap that they want. Okay, whether it works or not, I'm not saying it. So that they're going to other methods. Remember, we talked about Joe Tippins for a long time, and he was using fenbenzidol, which was a dog dewormer, and to fight his cancer. Go check out my video about Joe Tippins and the Joe Tippins story. We're going to finish this clip up, thumbs this up. We don't even have close to 100 thumbs over on YouTube. Can we get 100 thumbs? And then we're going to play the evil Dr. Pierre Corey, according to Vice, against one of his detractors. So let's finish this up.
And obviously you heard from the doctor there. We're going to hear much more from him in the 6 o'clock hour. Now, there's a completely different chapter to this story. This has gained national headlines and headlines across the country because it's also used to deworm animals like horses and cows. But as you heard, the FDA does have approval for it in humans for certain conditions. So we're going to unravel all of that. And again, hear more from the doctor coming up at 6. But for now, live in Westchester, Ken Brown, Fox 9.
All right, so let's cut that one out. And before we go there, I'm going to be doing a video exposing Mick West and Metabunk, especially on this issue, because it's repulsive. We're hearing all these, propagated Bernaysian talking points that just are not true of like pandemic of the unvaccinated. By the way, Jesse Jackson and his wife both took the shots. They both ended up in the hospital. Jesse Jackson is, I believe, out or off of the ventilator. They were both on vents, right? I'm pretty sure they were hospitalized and both on vents. I believe that Jesse's status is a little bit better. And they're saying that they were, in fact, fully vaccinated, whether that means 2 shots or 1 shot, and then 2 weeks after, you can never tell. But, when you see a headline like this, it's pretty disturbing. And by the way, still didn't hit those 100 thumbs up. This virus is not a joke. Schoolgirl 17 urges other teenagers to get vaccinated after COVID put her in the hospital. Now, here's the thing, okay? You see that? The schoolgirl was hospitalized with the virus weeks after receiving the first jab. Wait a minute, what? And then you look at it, and it was a blood clot in her lung. She received a single coronavirus jab and was soon diagnosed with a blood clot in her lung following numerous blood tests. So, is that a pandemic of the unvaccinated? Certainly not something that's being reported as an adverse effect. We are in a crazy time. And when we leave YouTube, which is just about now, guys, and go over to Rockfin, go make the free account, Rockfin. Remember, $9.99 a month for all the premium stuff. That's everybody's premium stuff. Endorse Jason Burmis or lock in a year for $100, save $20, and support this program. Because YouTube, Dr. Pierre Corey is banned on this platform. I love you guys,